Good morning. How are we doing out there? Excellent. Hello to everyone in YouTube, Zoom, and Facebook land as well. For those of us who are in the building, we're about to dive into our opening chant. I'm opening up in sweet surrender. And there's always the invitation for you to join me as the percussion part of the band here. So there's little drums and things over here. If anyone feels so brave as to assist, come on and grab a drum as we dive right in. Don't all jump up at once. Come on now, we got two brave drummers. Thank you very much. Everybody take a deep breath in, would you? And let go. Take another deep breath in. And let it go. One more deep breath. And let it go. Here we go. Reminder, the words are on your half sheet and they'll be on the screen for a minute. Oh, there they are. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. You are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. You are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. You are opening. You are opening. You are opening. You are opening. Sing this to someone next to you. You are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. You are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. You are opening. You are opening. You are opening. You are opening. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. We are opening. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the One. I am opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. I am opening. And so take a deep breath. And now take a moment, if you're in the room, to look around the room. See who else is here. Just notice. Wave. Hi, everyone. And now, as you're looking and noticing, look for the person that you might know the least and go walk over to them and say hello and tell them one thing about you that they probably don't know just by looking at you. It could be anything, but tell them one thing. And so as those of you in the room get up and greet each other, for anybody online, I invite you to say hello in the chat, add your name, let us know where you are watching from.
Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Joyous greetings to everyone. Thank you for being here. Just a friendly reminder, masks are strongly encouraged, no longer required, but strongly encouraged for everyone while in your buildings. So please do participate if you feel so called. A special welcome to those viewing us on YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom. We're so glad that you chose to join us this morning. Here at CSL Santa Cruz, we acknowledge the history of colonization and its devastating impact on our world, and specifically on the original inhabitants of this land. Recognizing that both colonization and decolonization are active processes today, we are dedicated to cultivating a consciousness of inclusion, and we commit to work daily to actively decolonize our own minds, and this begins right here, right now, with the land beneath our feet, by acknowledging its original inhabitants. Please take a moment to feel the ground beneath your feet and take a deep breath in. And so we begin our morning by acknowledging the land on which we gather is the unceded territory of the Awaswas-speaking Ubi tribe, the Ama Mutsun tribal band. Please join me in a moment of silence. My name is Jason Osmansky. My pronouns are he, him. And my people come from a few places. On my mother's side, the Osmansky family, they came from Poland and settled in Kansas, originally known as Kanza, the land of the Shawnee and Osage people. My father's family immigrated from Italy, the Beno family, and they settled in Chicago, originally Chickawa, the lands of the Muscooten and Illinois people. I come from southern Utah, the lands of the Paiute, Navajo, and Shoshone and Ute people. If you have these little slips, we're going to speak together our mission, purpose, and vision statement. We're going to say this together mindfully. Our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. Our vision is a world that works for everyone and all life on earth. We are a community dedicated to possibility. We have a very special morning planned for you today. Our practitioner of the day is Reverend Grace Lovejoy. Thank you. We have Reverend Tamara Merrill holding us in prayer during our service, and a special thank you for hosting our morning meditation, which, as a reminder, is now being held here in the sanctuary. So if you want to participate, come here and don't find yourself lost in the Rose Room. Our musical muses today is Michael Shorvat. Yay. Welcome back. It's great to have you. Our message today will be delivered through Reverend Elisha. And here he is.
Good morning again. So we're going to dive into our chant. This is this song we've been learning all last couple weeks, and then we will just continue in as the service just gets into deeper as we move with prayer and more music. And so for those of you in the room, reminder the words are on your half sheets, and they'll also be on the screen for those of you online. And just so take a breath, and I want to invite you just to close your eyes for a moment. And before we sing this, I just want to invite each one of us to remember that who we are is fed by the roots of the ancestors who came before us, all that descends through each one of us into life, and each one of us are ancestors in training. And so take a deep breath in, and we'll sing this together 3 times. In my heart a tree is growing with its roots in the dreams of my ancestors, and its branches bloom in my words and my deeds, growing fruit for the children of vision. And the wind in its leaves cause the children to dance and remember their longing to be free. In this forest of peace may all humans be released from their struggles of fear and retribution. And the land opens wide as the people reside in harmonics of deepening communion. In my heart a tree is growing with its roots in the dreams of my ancestors, and its branches bloom in my words and my deeds, growing fruit for the children of vision. And the wind in its leaves cause the children to dance and remember their longing to be free. In this forest of peace may all humans be released from their struggles of fear and retribution. And the land opens wide as the people reside in harmonics of deepening communion. In my heart a tree's growing with its roots in the dreams of my ancestors, and its branches bloom in my words and my deeds, growing fruit for the children of vision. And the wind in its leaves cause the children to dance and remember their longing to be free. In this forest of peace may all humans be released from their struggles of fear and retribution. And the land opens wide as the people reside in harmonics of deepening communion. In this forest of peace may all humans be released from their struggles of fear and retribution. And the land opens wide as the people reside in harmonics of deepening communion.
Good morning. Thank you so much for being here this morning. I feel so blessed to be in the presence of like-minded people who are moving the world in a direction where we've been looking to see. So let's go into some prayer at the moment. Put your feet flat on the floor so you're well grounded on Mother Earth. Open your mind to the possibility of being flooded with the light of the infinite intelligence which is guiding and guarding us forever. And know this truth with me. That one power, that presence, is the only thing there is. It has created everything out of itself, including us, and is part of that great, imaginative, creative, on-flowing, forever being, imaginative beingness. We come together for a high and holy purpose, and that is that we are here to bless each other, to act in a way that is kind and considerate, and to change the world through our actions, through our thoughts, and through our deeds. So that in this world we are both blessed and a blessing. And I am grateful to be with you here today. And so it is.
I have 2 questions for you this morning. Why have you come and where have you been? My brother, my sister, let us begin. The weight on your shoulders you carrying is much too great until you begin. So let us begin. I've been searching for freedom and I found out freedom only exists in the here and now. Through the comfort and chaos I've come to find that the life we lead is both heavy and light. So ask yourself, My brother, my sister, let us begin. The weight on your shoulders you carrying is much too great until you begin. So let us begin. Some call it your fault, some call it a sin. When you can't stop what's happening, I call it a blessing, I call it a gift. When the weight of the world wakes me up to win, it's time to begin. Why have you come and where have you been? My brother, my sister, let us begin. The weight on your shoulders you're carrying is much too great until you begin. So let us begin. Let us begin. Let us begin. My family, my friends, let us begin. Let us begin. Let us begin. My family, my friends, why have you come and where have you been? My brother, my sister, let us begin. The weight on your shoulders you're carrying is much too great until you begin. So let us begin. Let us begin. Let us begin. My family, my friends, let us begin. Let us begin. Let us begin. My family, my friends, why have you come and where have you been? Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And so, good morning again. I am Reverend Elisha Christopher, Spiritual Director here at Center for Spiritual Living Santa Cruz. My preferred pronouns are they, them, and my ancestors on my father's side come from Scotland and Ireland, and actually found out that my grandmother's grandmother immigrated from French Canada and spoke French and worked in a shoe factory when she first moved to the United States. And on my mother's side, we are Austrian and Dutch, and that side of the family is Jewish. So a little rundown on my history, there you go. Let's begin by taking a few breaths together. So if you will, exhale first. Take a deep breath in. And let go. Another deep breath. And let go. One more of those. Deep breath in. And let go. And so, as you may or may not know, over the course of the month of February, our theme for the month has been Use and Value Diversity. And this fits into our year of inner and outer permaculture as the second of the permaculture principles that we're exploring. And over the course of the last 2 weeks, we've spent a lot of time looking at some hidden histories, if you will. We had our guest Tracy Brown last week who talked to us a little bit about the Black history of New Thought and the hidden legacy, as she calls it, of the voices and contributions of Black folk to the New Thought movement. And the week before that, we heard a little bit from Amy Chen about some of the local history of Chinese culture in this area, and we learned a little bit about Chinese New Year. And this is just two little slices that we've been able to look at to begin to educate ourselves, to uncover some of that which perhaps was unseen by some of us. And as we talk about using and valuing diversity in community, but also in our own lives, I think it's incredibly important for us to think about this idea, as Tracy Brown put it, of the hidden legacy that each person is carrying. You know, one of the reasons we've been using this process of on the stage introducing our name, our pronouns, and our ancestry is because there's a hidden legacy, there's a hidden truth, there's a hidden self inside of each one of us. And if we can begin in this small way to just build a little culture where each one of us begins to introduce some of the layers of who we are, it begins to inform those around us that there's something more to me than you can see, right? And in the room, in our introductions this morning, we asked everyone, just share with someone else something about you that they couldn't know just by looking at you, right? Because if we truly want to live in a stained glass spirit community, which was Tracy's term we used last week, where we recognize that like the stained glass windows we have in this space, each panel, each different color, each unique shape contributes to the whole image. And the image is beautiful because it contains the diversity of colors and shapes. If you look to nature, to forests, to ecosystems, again, they thrive through the interdependence of all of the varying species that are there. And in this idea of talking about hidden histories and hidden legacies this month, it's been making me think a lot about how the unseen is really what is creating most of what we experience, each individually and collectively. You know, the more I learn about permaculture and sustainable agriculture or regenerative agriculture, one of the things that one of the permaculture teachers that I've been studying says is that one of the most important things to look at in your ecosystem is what's happening underground. What's happening in the microbiology of the soil, the fungi, the bacteria, the amoebas, what's happening down in the roots, what's happening underneath the surface means everything to what arrives above the surface, to what grows, to how much fruit and health there is to the plants that grow in that space. And in community, all we can see are the parts of each other that we can see. And yet there is vast worlds inside of each person, and those worlds are informed by our histories, by our ancestral history, but also by our personal history. Those worlds are informed by our identities and by the relationships we've had in the world, perhaps by the area of the world that we grew up in or the things that we had access to or didn't. All of these layers show up in the what that we are creating. And we are living in, as we all are experiencing, the most interesting of times. And it's easier and easier to either look at the world and see that it's becoming more and more and more divided, and it's also getting easier and easier and easier for us to find ourselves in the echo chamber, especially through social media and the internet, of only hearing our own voice back to us. And we have to figure out how to navigate this emerging world, right? If we ever want to arrive at a world that works for everyone, if any one of us want to figure out how to have thriving lives, we have to recognize that it comes through mutual connection, through interdependence, and through a cultivation of something that we can't see. Just like in your garden, your compost, your worm bin, there's a whole lot happening that you can't see that leads to the flourishing down the line, that leads to the flourishing that you can see. And one of the reasons we're taking the time this month to sort of scratch the surface on some things that perhaps we didn't see before, some histories, some awareness, is because it's the things that we don't pay attention to are creating just as much as the things that we are paying attention to. And that if we're not aware of some of the hidden histories that are right around us, or maybe even sitting in this room, we operate in a way, I think many of us, that it's hard to believe that other people don't think like we do. You know, whatever you think is normal for you, you probably think accidentally might be normal for everyone else. Right? And yet, even in this room, there is a vast diversity of experiences happening right now. We all learn in different ways. We take in information in different ways. Some of us are focused on some of the major issues of the world and saying, how do we solve climate change? How do we fix the divides in the environment? How do we build a beloved community and drop deeper? But some of us are just trying to figure out how to manage our health or our finances or get out of some difficult experience. And so just in this room, there's a variety of experiences happening, and all of that collective is creating for all of us and each of us. And if we walk into this space or any space in the world and think that everyone thinks like we do and expect everyone to want to show up and act and interact and be as outgoing or not outgoing as we are, we actually start creating walls around ourselves. And you know, we live in the middle of the Live Oak neighborhood of Santa Cruz. And Maggie Dreyer actually introduced me to a neighbor of hers this week who's part of an organization that is the Live Oak Education Foundation. And perhaps you've seen some local bumper stickers on some of the cars that say, "I love Live Oak." And part of this organization's purpose, at least is my understanding, is to recognize that right here in our neighborhood, in the streets that surround this center, there is a vast diversity of hidden histories, of people that we may not even know are there. And that Live Oak is actually one of the more diverse areas of Santa Cruz. I think it's like 50% Hispanic in the neighborhoods right around us. Right? And that means that potentially some of the people who are living right around us might be some of the farm workers who are preparing our food. There might be people right in our direct neighborhoods who are asylum seekers, who are here from another place, seeking a life that works. Are we aware of those that might be invisible to us, whose lives we are actually intertwined with, interdependent, connected to? And it's really, really easy to just drive up, come into this building, and only see inside of these walls, right? And yet, there's parks and schools and neighbors and all the things that are happening around us. And so, that's just one example of one of the organizations that we are in communication with about saying, how do we take our spiritual principles, our vision of a world that works for everyone, and expand it not just beyond these four walls, not just beyond our acre of property, but out into our neighborhood. Exactly, to the streets. Right? One of the things we've been talking about for a while now, and is really part of this whole year's theme of inner and outer permaculture, is how do we bridge the gap between our principles, our values, and our actions? How do we truly walk the talk? And the thing that I've been contemplating a lot recently is that, we say in our mission, vision, and purpose that we are here in this place to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation, right? We're here to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, all for the purpose of bringing about a world that works for everyone. And that takes a lot of doing as well as a lot of being. Right? That we have to be in the practice, we have to be in the engagement. And as I said before, there's a vast diversity of experiences happening right in this very community, in this room. And so if you've noticed, if you pay attention to your newsletter, we're trying to create more and more and more ways that we can come together and be in community with each other. There's something happening almost every day of the week here at this center that you can participate in. And it's because some of us learn by sitting around in a reading group and having a conversation. Some of us learn by getting together and being in movement and creation together. Some of us learn by ... etc., and so on and so forth, right? But we can come into this place and listen to one perspective that's coming from the stage, and that's useful, it's important. I have a lot of good things to say. But you can't get the whole truth from any one perspective, right? Ken Wilber, who created integral theory, says that as he was developing integral theory and studying different philosophies and different teachers and different modalities, he had to do this sort of synthesis process of saying, okay, this and this align, this and this align. What this person said is interesting, but there's some truth there. Let's bring that over here. And he says it wasn't a process of what does Ken Wilber like and what does Ken Wilber not like and sifting them that way. It's a process of recognizing that no human mind is capable of 100% error. No one, that took you a second, huh? But to me, that also means that the inverse is true. That no human mind is capable of 100% accuracy. That we're all a little on and we're all a little off. You know? And we're living in this interesting time where more and more and more the culture is telling us that my people think correctly and those people think 100% incorrectly. And I was having this thought the other day as I was watching some things on the news, and it appears more and more that we have less and less of, say, liberals and conservatives or Republicans and Democrats, and we have more and more anti-liberals and anti-conservatives, anti-Republicans and anti-Democrats, which is a fascinating turn that's emerging in our collective consciousness, that we are getting so locked into our own perspective that anyone else who comes at us with a different idea, it's like, nope, that doesn't fit my worldview, I don't accept it. And if we are ever going to arrive to the land of solutions, we have to be willing to bridge the gap somehow. You know, my teacher, Gene Houston, for the last 10 years has been telling me the greatest challenge of the 21st century is going to bridge the great divide of otherness. Otherness. That the greatest challenge in front of us is to bridge the great divide of otherness. And if we ever want to arrive at a permaculture design for thriving, a permanent culture that allows us all to live and be as we are meant to be, we're going to have a lot of conversations. You know, one of my favorite books is The Fifth Sacred Thing by Starhawk, and recently she wrote the sequel, The City of Refuge. And in that book, one of the characters is talking about the transformation of this building society and making it all work and arriving at this world that works for everyone that they built in this story. And she says, one of the things that they never tell you is how many meetings it took. How many conversations have to be had, right? And we can only have these conversations in smaller groups. We need to have spaces where we can come together and cycle around ideas with a few other people to bounce our ideas off of, because again, each one of us has our perspective, but it's when we get into dialogue or conversation with another person or a small group of people that these varying perspectives are all start to shine, or it's like we're all standing in a dark room and each one of us has a flashlight. And this is my perspective, and this is yours, and there's like, you know, a disco ball in the middle of the room, you know? And we're all trying to shine our light on it to see what is there. And as we shine our light, more and more and more light emerges, right? And I really believe that the remarkable thing about the world that we're living in, as all of the problems and breakdown and disillusion and all the stuff that's happening in the world, right alongside it, underneath it, inside of it, next to it, all around it, the solutions, the possibilities, the ways, the pathways, the people, the minds that are going to lead us there are rising up as well. And I believe that I see that we're standing in this moment where there is this puzzle that has been thrown out before us. No one on the planet has the picture on the box, and every one of us has a piece of the puzzle. Right? And it's in putting all of those pieces of the puzzle together that we're going to start to see the picture that's emerging, but we can't see it yet. We can see that the puzzle's broken. We can see that the pieces are scattered everywhere. We can see that there's a lot that we need to pay attention to. And it's only in sitting around and coming together in community and saying, this is my passion. This is the problem that I see in the world. This is the solution that I see that can lead us there. And then the next person says, well, this is what I see, and this is what I have. And as we come together and bring our multiple perspectives together, the picture can begin to emerge of how we can actually build this world that works, build a community that works, build a space that we can all find a way to plug in, to activate and bring our message forward. Because I know that there's a message, there's a passion, there's a truth, there's a solution in each person in this room. You know, we have the synthesis class that's starting in March. And part of the purpose of the synthesis work is to invite each of us to just bring one passion, one concern, one issue, one thing forward that you want to dedicate your life to seeing shift. And if we had a community where each one of us chose our one thing that we were going to be the champion for, that we were going to be the change agent, the peacemaker, the shift bringer, if we could each choose one thing, there would be 30 or 40 something things shifting today. You know? And some of us we each see certain different things, right? Each one of us comes from our own perspective. And so some of us, the environment is the first concern. For some of us, it's issues of race and social justice. For some of us, it's our local politics. Whatever it is, right? Each one of us can see the thing that is needing to be addressed, and then it's our charge then to bring it forward. Because if you see it, someone else probably does too. But if you see it, it probably means that someone else doesn't as well. And so we have to speak into what it is that we see so that we can change it. Because again, if we're not paying attention to what we can't see, we can't ever bring the thriving that wants to be here forward. But it takes cultivation. It takes time. It takes participation and deep attention to what we want to bring about. And I think that we are living in one of these crux moments of evolution where the choice is in our hands. There is a momentum happening in the world that is clearly leading us down a road that I don't want to go down. And we can continue to allow that, or we can each make it our spiritual imperative to figure out where our voice is needed and begin to stand up. And so I just want to invite us today to begin to think each individually about what is your piece of the puzzle? What is it that if you could make change in your own life or in the world would contribute to the emergence of this world that works that we're always talking about? But I think that it's going to take every single one of us naming our one thing and starting there. Not ending there, but starting there. You know, the journey of 1,000 steps begins with the first one. And I believe that if we can see one small thing change in our own life or in our community, it's a whole lot easier to believe that we can make change into something a little bit bigger. And if we can do something in our community or in a small group, then it's maybe a little bit easier to believe that we could do it on a greater scale in our greater community, in our state, or in our nation. And so do some self-examination, some life examination this week, and just notice what has your attention. And then when you begin to notice, begin to ask, what is mine to do? And so take a deep breath and let it go. And I just want to invite us to just take a moment to breathe. To just be in this contemplation. That right here in this room, each one of us is being called towards something. And to just ask, what might that be? And how can I make a step forward? And so let us just know together that there is only one. That in the multiplicity of life, in the vast diversity that surrounds us, in all that appears to be wrong and broken and falling apart, there's only one planet. There's only one life, and it holds us all. Because we are truly in this together. Every single one of us and every single one of them. There is no divide. We are one people. We are one planet. We are life itself. And so it is up to us to be the place where something new emerges, where we take a stand or we speak our voice, where we use the power of our word to speak a new vibration into the world, knowing that every word spoken is a prayer uttered, and that every prayer uttered, the answer is always yes. And so let us believe in something higher. Let us participate in something bigger. Recognize that the world is calling for something new. And the seeds of that newness live inside of each one of us. But we must value the difference of opinion and perspective and the overlap of consciousness, always remembering that when two or more are gathered, something more becomes available. And so let us gather around possibility. Let us gather around change. Let us gather around being spiritually active people in the world, taking what we think about and what we know about and what we meditate and pray about and bring it into the world, into how we be and come about everywhere we go. And so I am just grateful to be able to know that change is in my hands. Let us each be grateful that we are not powerless, that we are sourced by a power for good in this universe that is greater than we are, and each one of us can be a place where it comes through into the world, unleashing greater good and possibility everywhere we go. Let us stand for good. Let us each learn to live in a good way, and then be the living examples to everyone we meet. And so in this, I just say yes, and I surrender. And so it is. Michael?
Wow, thank you, Rev Elijah, and thank you everyone for being part of this beautiful community here. And I just wanted to share that I do have CDs out in the other room over here, and you can come visit. And if you sign up on my mailing list, you get a free song emailed to you. And this next song I'm going to play is a culmination, or it comes from a project that I did a few years ago where I had this bright idea that I was going to record 52 songs in a year, which is one song a week, and I actually did it, and I accomplished it. And one of the things it created was this album that I have for sale called In the Key of Awakening, and this song is on it, and it's really about how even though we're all different and we have these different perspectives, we still come from the same source, and we all have this divine spark in us. And when I look into your eyes and when I look at you, I see me. So the song's called Reflection. You are a reflection of me and our connection to all that is. The presence of God and man. I am all that I am. No one said it'd be easy to return the love that you receive. We're all shining stars. We've come too far. Bright as the sun, we carry on. You are a reflection of God, a perfect imperfection, filled with grace. Yet still we chase the people and things that bring us down, that bring us down. No one said it'd be easy. We must lose our minds to be set free. We're all shining stars. We've come too far. Bright as the sun, we carry on. Beloved, I'm here for you, and I honor you. I see the divine in you, and I recognize the truth. Beloved, I'm within you, and you're in
we're reflections of love. Reflections of love. Reflections of love. Reflections of love. We're reflections of love. Reflections of love. Reflections of love. Reflections of love. We're reflections of love. We reflect our love. Extensions of love. We extend our love. We're reflections of love. 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 Reflections of love.
Thank you, Michael. Wow. Well, my friends, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. This is our time in our service for our conscious giving, and so we're going to invite the ushers to bring our collection bags up. And I want to say thank you to those of you who are our online committed givers. Thank you for your consistent giving. To those of you who might be a guest here today, I want you just to bask in the gratitude for a moment. And if you are feeling inspired and you want to continue to invest and support in what we're doing here, if you have a gift this morning, just hold it, take it near your heart for a moment. And if you're an online giver, just hold your own heart and just take a breath and repeat after me. For all that I have, for all that I give, for all that I receive, I am truly grateful because I am truly blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. And if you would, just place one hand on your heart and extend the other hand forward as we have all the gifts and offerings and also our prayer box up in front of the room. And so just extend your love and your blessing as we just take this moment to each one of us, just recognize once again that there is one source, that there is one supply, that there is one infinite being that is living and breathing throughout the entirety of the universe. And it is this one who is living and breathing as each one of us. And so let us just take this moment of gratitude to just be in the blessing, to be in the gift. And so I speak a word of multiplication for every gift given, knowing that it is part of a process of circulation, and knowing that the giver is blessed, that the receiver is blessed, and that more and more is multiplied in the process. And I also speak a word for every prayer in our prayer box and for every unspoken prayer on each heart in this room, knowing for each one of us that if healing is what we are seeking, may the love and the light of the universe live in us. If truth is what we are seeking, may it awaken in our awareness. If prosperity is what we are needing, may it rain down upon us. Healing, love, life is making itself available to each one of us. And so let us stand in the knowing that we are cared for, that we are held. But there is also something coming through each one of us that is necessary and needed for the world. And so let us unleash our truth and our love everywhere we go. And so in joy, in gratitude, let us just surrender and let it be. And so it is. Jason?
Wow. Wow. Sorry. Once again, we find ourselves swooned by the words of wisdom. So thank you, Reverend Eli. Where am I in this? Okay. If I may, I feel called to share a bit about myself. That prompt earlier during our meet and greet really inspired me, and I wanted to share something about myself that you may not see looking at me. My family was extremely poor growing up. My siblings and I found ourselves in foster care. And recently my parents just celebrated their 17 years of sobriety and clean, which is amazing, amazing. And every single day that passes, I feel so much gratitude. And I feel so blessed to have the struggle and the pain that I grew up with, because it's formed me into this strong and wise person that I am today. And I would not be that person without all of that history. And I'm so blessed and grateful to find myself here in this beautiful, beloved community with each of you, seeing your faces every single day. And I'm so grateful to receive that love in return. Thank you. Thank you. Just a few announcements coming up. We have on Mondays our Braiding Sweet Class reading group with Reverend Grace Lovejoy. It's an amazing conversation. It's more of a conversation than reading, so if you're nervous about reading in front of a group, just come with thoughts and ideas. You will not leave empty-handed, I promise you. Our Spiritual Living Circle and Talk After the Talk is on Wednesdays. Our Qigong is this Thursday, Body-Wise is on Friday, and Dances of Universal Peace are next week after service. So please get involved, participate. It's a lot of fun. It'll get you moving, get you happy, get your groove on. And also check your e-news. There's clearly lots happening here every single day of the week here at your Center for Spiritual Living. And you won't want to miss out on any of that. There's lots of juicy information. Our practitioners and our ministers are available for a prayer after service in our brand new prayer room just off the lobby in the front of the center. So if you feel like you want to celebrate or you need someone to hold you in prayer, please find one of our practitioners and ministers, and they are happily and honored to be there for you. Thank you so much to our musicians, Michael Shorvat and Anthony Steinberg, our media magicians, Susan Pankratz and Maggie Dreyer, our practitioners, Reverend Grace and Reverend Tamara, and our speaker, Reverend Elisha. A special thank you to all of our viewers on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom, and everyone here in the center. for joining us. It's always a pleasure to see your faces. I love you all. Have a great week.
And so we're not quite done yet. Special treat. I'm going to invite Aaron up and Michael back up. I want to introduce you to the emerging new Center for Spiritual Living House Band. And we're going to do our closing song. So you might want to stand up for this one, just saying.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if ever you're discouraged, trying to make it just through another day, you've gotta let it go. Let it all go. And this is what I have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release, and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Come on. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am
social. There's snacks and coffee.